welcome back to my channel. So in my last vlog I told you guys that I did have a doctor's appointment and I took you guys along with me a little bit, but there was so much going on with that appointment that I wanted to go ahead and do a different video for that. So I figured while I was in the process of doing my hair, which you can see, I'd come on and talk to you guys about some of the things that I found out at the doctor. So if you are interested in hearing about that, then just keep on watching. So, I guess what people might ask, so essentially what I'm going to be doing to my hair the whole time, because I'm not going to sit here and like talk about it. Leave-in first, cream, then gel. I have my water on standby in case my hair starts to dry out. So yeah, I went to the doctor on Wednesday, and what they did first was they went ahead and they did an ultrasound, because the last time I went to the doctor I had 2 cysts, one on my right ovary, one on my left, and the one on the left was hemorrhagic and it was still bleeding out at the time. So typically what they do is they keep a 3-month watch on it and they have you come back so that they can look at the cyst again and see if they are still going. So went back, did the ultrasound, and they are still there, both of them. They're the same size, they haven't gotten any smaller. The left one is still going. So it's pretty much 99.9% positive that that is a result of my endometriosis and that is an actual endometrioma. So I sat down with my doctor after that and talked to him, and there are some other things going on which explain a lot of why I've been feeling as crappy as I do, and I haven't had a lot of energy. The first thing is that my uterus is no longer in anatomical position. So, and I know that probably sounds crazy, but that is the reality. Typically your uterus tilts somewhat forward. And I could notice when they were doing the ultrasound that it looked a little funny, and mine is actually tilting back, so that it's difficult for me. And I kind of told you guys how like I've been trying to like do yoga and stuff, and it's been really painful because it feels like it's like way too much pressure on my uterus, and that's why, because it's not in the proper position. So what my doctor is thinking is that there is built up scar tissue behind it, and that is what is causing my uterus to shift. And for anyone that's new or just still doesn't completely understand what endometriosis is, I think the best way to explain it is that every month you shed part of your uterine lining. That's part of what your period is. And when you have endometriosis, that's not what happens. And it pretty much starts to cover things up. Scar tissue attaches to your ovaries, your uterus, just about anywhere. And that scar tissue can cause irregular bleeding, severe pain, severe fatigue. It can cause a lot of different symptoms. Every woman is different, so not everyone is going to have the same symptoms, but so that's what I mean by scar tissue. When I say that, is that there's literal actual tissue and scarring in my uterus and around it. So that is the third thing going wrong. So you can only imagine it's bad enough that I have 2 active cysts, but I also have a uterus that is no longer in the proper position. And I can definitely feel it. Like, I remember when I was back at school before we went to winter break, and I told my friends, I was like, my uterus feels out of place. Like, everything feels out of place. Like, everything is sitting on top of each other. And I was not wrong. Everything was out of place. But I just I try not to freak out about things when they happen, because I know that my body is in a little bit of a weird place right now. So I try not to freak out when those things happen. Oh, and if you see me looking down, I have a mirror in front of me, so that's why. And the third thing on top of all of this, because let's be real, you can't just have like one or two things going on with you, right? You have to have a crap ton of things going wrong. There is fluid pretty much in and around my uterus and going into my stomach. It's more than likely blood, but there's also free fluid from other places as well. And the way my doctor described that, he was very honest. He was like, you are essentially having a period on the inside. So, you know, I've told you guys that I've been extremely tired, and that is why I have all three things happening at the same time, and my body can't handle it. It's a lot to be dealing with at one time, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of concerned about the whole thing with my uterus being out of position, because it makes me wonder if I have scar tissue that may be starting to attach to my bowels, which can happen. A lot of people don't really understand how all of that, everything that's down there in some way is attached and related to one another. So all of that is close to each other, and you can have scar tissue from your endometriosis that will start to attach to your bowels, and I am very worried about that, because I don't want more than one problem. Like, this is bad enough dealing with my reproductive system. I don't want to have something on top of that, so I'm a little nervous about that, which I think anyone would be. So from talking to my doctor, you guys know what my, initial path that I plan to take is, but the thing with that is you can't just go on and have a surgery. You have to, there's a lot of planning that's involved, and there's insurance that is involved. And even though my doctor and his colleagues are 99.9% sure that it is endometriosis and things need to be taken out, they have to make sure that they have everything documented properly so that the insurance company will help me pay for it, and they won't be able to say, oh, well, she doesn't need it, so too bad for her. So what they're gonna do is, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be having a laparoscopic surgery. And typically how that works is they make a small incision in your belly, and they go in with a camera, and they document everything that's down there, all of the scarring, all of the tissues, because I've explained to you guys before that endometriosis is one of those things that you can't necessarily see it on an ultrasound. More than likely, you won't see it on an ultrasound. And they don't really know how bad it is until they get in there. But they're going to do that. And they are also going to try to burn some of the scar tissue off to alleviate some of my pain. So whatever that tissue is that is behind my uterus, they're going to try to get some of that if they can. It may be so far gone that they can't do anything but, you know, remove organs. And they're also going to cut out the cysts that are on my ovaries. And whatever other scar tissue they find, they are going to be attempting to remove. Now, this does not change how I feel about getting a hysterectomy. I think that it's necessary, and I think that to a very high degree, my doctor also feels that it's necessary because it's been such a long time. And I will say that if the doctor that I had when all of this started, if she had taken me more seriously, if she had really listened to what I was saying, I don't think I would be in this position right now. I think I would have been able to do the laparoscopic stuff sooner, and that might have allowed me to have quite a few more years before I would have had to be on this track. And that's really why, I mean, they have to be careful with doing any surgery, but that's why this whole laparoscopic surgery didn't come sooner. It should have happened like 3 years ago, if I'm being completely honest. It should have happened 3 years ago. But I was not given proper information. I wasn't being taken seriously. So I was doing what I thought was my only option, which was tons of birth control. And that wasn't my only option. I mean, the woman wouldn't even diagnose me, so, you know, that's that. It's kind of just making do with what I have now, and what is at my disposal. So that is going to have to happen before I do anything else. And I can't say that I'm very happy about it, because the more surgery you have, the longer you have to wait in between to do something else. And the longer that I'm going to be taken away from the things that I want to do in life. School, work, all of that stuff. I enjoy being at school. I enjoy working. I like having things to do. And the more surgeries that I have to have, the longer I'm going to be away from all of that. And I mean, I know at the end of the day, I have to do what I have to do for myself. Like, all of that is going to be there, but my health won't be. So, I have to think in that sense that what I am doing for myself is more important. But, you guys know I've had a lot of surgery in the past. My body's been through a lot of trauma, so I'm not excited about having to do possibly several, because I don't know what's going to come after this. I don't know what the insurance company is going to ask for. So it's kind of up in the air, and I'm a little bit of a control freak. I can admit that. I like knowing what's going on. I like having some type of hold on everything, especially when it's my life. I'm the one that has to go through this. I'm the one that has to deal with this at the end of the day. And if things don't work out, I have to feel all the things that didn't work out. So, you know, that's the gist of everything. So this is going to be a much longer process, guys. Like, everything is going to take way more time and energy than I thought it would. And honestly, I think my frustration is not coming from a place of impatience. I wouldn't say that. I mean, I think, just to be quite honest, I'm scared. Like, this is the beginning of the process, and I'm gonna have to have a lot of people poking me. There's going to be more anesthesia and more cutting into my body than I thought there would be initially. So I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm kind of concerned. And that doesn't hold anything against my doctor. Like, I love that guy. He's amazing. It's just, you know, anytime you go through some type of surgery, some type of medical procedure where they have to put you under, there is a lot of health risk in that. Especially if you have to do those types of things more than once. And it's already going to be enough that, you know, having organs taken out, it takes your body a long time to get back. I'm not super excited about having to do more than one surgery, but if it has to happen, it has to happen. I can't change it. I can't do anything about it. That's just life. I have to roll with it, and I have to trust in what I'm doing and trust the people around me that are trying to help me. And I think the most frustrating part about all of this is really going to be the fact that I'm 22. I am at an age where, in a lot of ways, my doctors have to be hasty, but they also have to proceed with caution because they don't want to make me feel like they're robbing me of my life, of my fertility, all those different things. Which is understandable. They have to be careful. And they don't want to make me feel like they are pushing me to do something drastic. Even though I have sat down, I've looked at things at every single angle, I've talked to women who have done this, I have a very stable support system around me that is going to help me deal with this, and no doubt, like, once this happens, like, there's going to be a grieving process. I'm going to be upset to an extent, but that's okay. I know that I'll be able to deal with that because I have, like I said, a great support system. I will probably need counseling. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm not afraid to talk about mental health on this channel. I have definitely struggled with my mental health throughout everything that I've dealt with my endometriosis. And I'm sure there will be no exception. Going through surgery and everything else, so. But yeah, it's difficult being 22 and dealing with this because people have to proceed with caution, but they want to be hasty because you shouldn't be this young dealing with something like this. I mean, no one should have to deal with it. That's just point blank. Whether you're 20 years old or 50 years old, the symptoms are still the same. Like, you're still in pain. You're still having a hard time. You can't change that. Like, it doesn't matter. But it's just one of those things. My age is definitely going to be a hindrance in this process. And I think you guys will see that the more I vlog, especially if I can manage to get some footage while I'm in with my doctors, because I do have to be careful with that. I don't want to violate anyone's privacy in terms of what my doctors are allowed to say, for one. And, you know, I'm not the only one that goes to that facility, so I'm not going to be walking in the waiting room with my camera out. Because I don't want to mess with anyone's privacy. Like, what if someone's there and they're pregnant and they don't want anyone to know? You know what I mean? Like, I have to make sure that I only give you guys insight to my life, not busting on someone else's. So that is one thing. Like, I'm still figuring out how I'm gonna do all that, because there are a lot of things that I want to show you guys, but I have to be careful with how I do it. So that's the only thing. Don't be disappointed if you don't see a lot when I'm actually there yet, because I'm gonna try to get you guys as much as I possibly can. So, but yeah, I just wanted to come on and give you guys a little bit of insight on that, because I'm not gonna lie, I was really frustrated when I left the doctor. I was really bummed out, and I kind of just didn't want to get on camera. And that'll happen sometimes. Like, there will be days when I'll be really annoyed, I'll be really upset, I will be in a lot of pain, and I won't want to get on camera, and I won't want to just be around people in general. That's just how life works. So thank you guys for sitting down and listening to my little rant about the doctor. I'm going to finish my hair. I'm just going to go ahead, add my gel, top off my hair, and I'm going to go out. I'll talk to you guys later.
Boy, you should know that I've got you on my mind, your secret admirer. I've been watching you. At night, I think of you. I want to be your lady, baby. If your game is on, give me a call, boo. If you're loving strong, I give my all to you.